Hello, everybody. It's Burhaan here, and welcome to another episode of Factorio. So, this episode is particularly special because I actually recorded this on a train. I was literally, I took a train ride from Bangkok in Thailand up to Laos, which is pretty much a 11-hour train ride. And basically they had a power socket where I could plug in my laptop and pass the time by actually playing Factorio, which was pretty cool. As you can see, I'm just checking around the factory and having a look and seeing what actually is going on. Red circuits seem to be they're happening, but it's not happening as fast as I'd like. Beacons there are not getting enough production or enough red circuits. What am I looking for? I'm looking for more radars, it looks like. Doing a little bit of research, rocket damage. Basically now we're just going to get through all the research that we have, purely just to get to the end. And get to figuring out exactly what we need for additional sort of things for the rocket silo, etc. I've just increased sort of electric mining or electric furnaces, sorry, and obviously the shortage there is stone, and there is stone in the system, but I guess I'm trying to figure out where exactly the stone is. I've also got to go find more stone and figure out, try to get more stone in the system, because the smelting definitely needs to be increased. I'm just looking around and seeing what's going on. Plastic seems to be going, but not at a very rapid pace. Just walking around and scouting out the factory and seeing exactly what's going on. The wood there looks really odd, and that was a while ago when actually needed some fuel in the I think it's a chemical plant that actually makes those explosives. Yeah, so just looking around, green circuits look to be backed up pretty well. Red circuits are backed up all the way to the research facility, so that's pretty cool. Basically just scouting the factory, making sure that things are happening, looking at where the biter bases are. Basically, I'm refreshing my memory in terms of what I've actually done on this map. It's been a while since I've played, and so actually checking out the map and seeing what needs to be done now and then is quite important, I think. We obviously have a ton of space. I've just noticed we have a ton of space towards the right hand side, but I think, as I've said in a previous episode, I've been sort of building towards the right, and I think it's just inherent in the fact that I'm right-handed. Not exactly sure. So I need to go figure out sort of what's going on with excuse me, with sort of all the smelting and all the all the mining. And obviously these mining drills, this coal deposit was one of the backup coal deposits that I had set up when we had the power issues the last time around, or a couple of episodes ago. And so I just go ahead and clean out some of the mining drills that are basically not mining anymore. I put in this one extra miner and do a little bit of adjustment to try and get the balance of this coal out of here, or mined as fast as possible. Do drop a like if you're enjoying the series. So as you can see, I'm playing actually pretty slowly. I'm playing slower than I usually do, and I'm actually physically sitting on a train. Like the train is bumping around. There's this clickety clack noises going on. You don't hear that in the recording because I didn't turn my microphone on while I was sitting on the train. There was quite a bit of noise and background noise and clickety clacks from the railways, which I thought would have been pretty cool to have in the recording, but it was pretty loud. It was there was a lot of noise from other people in other carriages, etc. And so it was a night train that was going from Bangkok, which was pretty cool. It was an interesting experience. So this coal mine, or this coal patch, is also on its way out. I would say it has maybe an hour, 2 hours to go. It's sustained us for quite a while, so it's been a pretty good resource in terms of fueling, all the smelting, as well as all the electricity. So that's pretty cool. This weird sort of rock is in the middle of nowhere. I just decide to mine it. And then I notice a base that's out here, and I just decide to go annihilate it. These bases have been popping up pretty close by to my factory, and it's been quite annoying. The fact that the biters are a lot more aggressive, and they're generally more in the way than they used to be. Like before, when you used to play and you put down sort of something, you put down a wall, or you put down a belt, or you put down a something, the biters wouldn't spawn in that location anymore. So I'm just going to clean up. It's not that I need the the alien artifacts, but I think it's important to have places, have the biters away from the factories, and so that they don't cause too much of harm. Of course, it isn't too bad. I mean, I am playing with long reach, and I have got waterfall, so that's been good. It's been pretty easy to get those, and I just noticed there that I had left behind a couple of alien artifacts on the ground there, but that's not too much of an issue. So those biters are obviously causing havoc over here. They were tearing up a lot of this facility where I was basically collecting, or am basically collecting, iron. And you can see most of the guns on this corner are actually out of ammo. So I haven't been here in a while. I think since I set this particular iron outpost or iron mining facility up, I haven't really been around to check on things. So a lot of the miners were damaged, and I basically am now trying to build mining drills in my pocket to try to replace those as fast as possible. It's not critical because the train is still coming through. There is still mining going on. There's a lot of ore in the chests, and I still need a lot of mining drills to actually tap this entire ore. This entire ore, is that even a proper sentence? This entire patch of ore. So that's been pretty good. Something I just noticed there now while actually doing the audio on this video, there were a lot of mining drills that were actually had the red indicator on the bottleneck mod. Also a ton of coal over here, and we might actually get here. There's some stone here that I think could definitely be mined. A little piece of copper there, some stone over here too. So I'm just noticing that and trying to remember or just make a mental note that there is stone over here, so we can definitely maybe hook up a train or something to that nature. do subscribe if you're enjoying the series too. Over here, the biters have caused a little bit of havoc. Just replacing some stuff over here, just some guns that were out of ammo, and of course this copper patch is starting to taper down. The edges are basically mined out, and we're basically encroaching on the center of the patch, which is always a good sign. Of course, this particular train stop has got a feed from a lot of different patches. Like these, for some reason, these copper patches are pretty small. It could be based on the settings that I had when I actually generated the map. But then I noticed that, you know, my robots are basically going all the way up here. It looks like I lost a ton of mining drills, which is very disappointing. I should have probably noticed this early on, and I get started on making more mining drills to replace those types of things. I also decide to put down a ton of guns around the patch, because, you know, losing this number of mining drills, and mining drills are not cheap to make, but they're not the hardest thing to make either. But you know, you do wanna kind of look after them, because it's basically the core of the factory. I then run out of ammo while I'm placing all of these guns, and you can see there I've got like one piercing round in that lot of guns. So you know, we definitely need to work out a way to get more ammunition in these things. But I'll have to go back to the base pretty soon to now we pick them up and just have two, which is quite interesting. So I think I'm gonna have to sort of come back and build more mining drills and just put these down. The copper supply is not too bad at the moment, so we just go ahead and try to figure out what research we're gonna go with grenade damage. I want to do all the research that's necessary, so that's important. I obviously don't have many guns on me right now, and not much ammo. There's a little bit of stone, copper and coal over here, so that's quite interesting. There's another base right here, and as I said, I don't have enough ammo to actually tackle them and get them going, although some of them do notice me, and I just basically mow them down, or mow these spitters down with my shotgun. So just getting the stone. I don't know why I didn't put any mining drills down to actually get the stone that I found on the ground, but I guess we'll do that in another episode or sometime soon. This iron patch is also sort of you know, mining towards the center, which is quite interesting, which is quite good, which gives me the feeling that we're gonna have to start looking for more iron, and start, you know, maybe preparing for another train station somewhere along the line. Basically just checking out to see what's going on with the mining and stuff. So that's quite important, of course. Back in the factory, and the robots are basically darting towards me to fill me up on ammo and fill me up on a number of different things. I do have electric mining drills. Yes, that's the right thing. Electric mining drills made automatically, so I just pick up a stack of 50. Sorry, I have a stack. I have now 158, I think it is, on me. So that's pretty good. I do apologize for the slight noises in this recording. Excuse me. So I'm just waiting for the robots to basically deliver all 2,000 piercing rounds to me, so that I can go and tackle some of these alien bases that are out there. Of course, we do have some stone, and of course, what am I doing? Because we need to be making brick to be able to put that into the electric furnace. assembler. And so what I do is I put down, for whatever reason, I put down an assembler. And of course, we all know that assemblers don't make bricks, right? It's physically impossible. They're just not designed to do that. And hopefully soon. This is quite funny to watch. Yeah, I just realized, okay, I need a mining drill. So that's quite funny. I put down a mining drill right there. It has power. Trying to find stone to put the 50 stone that I have, and basically put down an inserter. Ooh, research is done. And so that'll happen sort of automatically. Put down a requested chest just in that sort of where there's power to request 100, no, 500. Basically I want all the stone to come here so that we can just get these electric mining drills, because I'm preparing to upgrade the smelting area and get all those. Well, the plan is to get the electric mining drills done, or upgrade the smelting from coal furnaces to electric furnaces. That's obviously going to have a ton of it's going to have a major impact on our productivity and our electricity things. And now I'm just playing around with sort of efficiency modules and speed modules just to see what the impact of the actual electric mining drill is. And I decide, screw it, I don't really care about the power that much. If we need power, we just build more power, more electricity. We just put down more boilers and more steam engines. And I want to go for speed. So obviously that's not the most efficient. It probably needs another electric furnace there to deliver the brick into that assembly machine. But I'm not too bothered about that right now. As long as those furnaces are always available for me, I can go ahead and do that. And so I'm basically walking around. I've put down, or I mined some of the stone, and I've created some landfill. And the plan is to put down the furnaces. I've basically built myself in, where all these water patches are. I've basically put my smelting in a position that doesn't really have much space. And so I'm trying to figure out, what do I need to do to be able to, and the stone here has run out completely. I'm trying to figure out, what do I need to do to actually increase the production of my factory, where I can actually have electric mining drills, electric furnaces, basically making all the iron plate, copper plate, and bringing that through the factory on the bus. And so I'm just scouting the area, just trying to see what needs to be done. Obviously there's a ton of trees. There's all my sort of oil processing and all of the storage tanks and all of this stuff. And obviously it's impossible to move around, and it's basically it's too late to now change all of this, because there's stuff in storage. Everything is hooked up and everything is connected. And again, I'm just sort of scouting out, trying to decide and trying to figure out, okay, what do I need to do to be able to get this smelting worked out, and basically increase the production of the smelting. Of course, we're kind of in the late game. We're trying to figure out what needs to be done. And oh, there's my car. And then I noticed that this particular train has been standing here for a long time, and maybe I just didn't notice it, but there's now there were three trains basically standing behind each other, and basically causing traffic, or causing sort of the copper train can't come in, the coal train can't come in, another copper train waiting to come in, the oil train also waiting to come in, or on the line to come in. And so I decided to go figure out what that is. Wow, there's a lot of stone over here. So I think what I end up doing is just putting down a roboport to basically have this stone come into the factory, because we do want to get those electric mining drills sort of set up. And so I just extend the robot network to start collecting the stone, and immediately one robot comes over and picks up a piece of stone and decides to take it back to the factory. And so that mining drill can basically continue mining, and then of course a ton of robots come over and they completely empty the chest in a matter of seconds, which is always nice to see. They've obviously taken all the stone over to the storage area, but that's fine, because that's quite a lot of stone. That's going to get my electric furnaces going quite well. I actually had forgotten about that that particular spot, or that stone that I was mining. And now again I'm trying to figure out, okay, so where can I place my electric furnaces? Obviously the furnaces are getting made. I changed the brightness for whatever reason. It's pretty dark on the train that I'm sitting in, I must admit. And then I decide to sort of, I'm trying to make space, but I'm also like, okay, what should I do? How should I do this? And then I eventually decide that, okay, if the trains are all coming in at this particular section, I don't want all the trains to go into that train depot that's basically getting jammed up, because there's just too many trains on the network now. Put down another electric pole for whatever reason. And I decided that I was actually going to clear out this space and have the furnaces over here. And so I start making space, because I'm not actually sure how big it's going to be. And by mistake, I picked up one additional power pole there. And so I'm thinking, you can literally see me thinking about what I'm going to do and how I'm going to run these lines, because ultimately we just want to get the iron plate and the copper plate into the factory. And so, this seems like a decent location. It seems like there's enough space. Again, I'm building on the right hand side for whatever reason. Clearing out some trees. Just to clean up the place and just make a bit of space. Again, I think I'm overestimating the amount of space that I need for this. Yeah, so basically I've decided that this is the position that I'm going to have my electric furnace set up, which is quite interesting. So what I'm planning on doing is having all the ore come in, we smelt it, and we send all the iron plate into the factory. Right now it's not necessary, it's not really needed, but I think it's necessary because I don't know, I just have this feeling that I want to switch over to electric furnaces, and I want to basically build a better, more efficient factory. I want to build a more speedy factory. So I decide to decide on the layer, and of course work out the spacing. And right now we don't have enough electric smelting machines. And now I count how many we have. So that's going to be the center line where we're basically going to bring all the iron plate in. And of course I do want a beacon. I want to put beacons around this this entire sort of setup, and I do this sort of fairly slowly. I'm trying to figure out like what's the best way to get the power down. Eventually I decide on putting down a substation, and of course I need to build more substations, probably something I need to add into production. And then I sort of try to work out, okay, so if we've got beacons, how are the beacons going to impact, and what is the spacing requirements for the actual beacon? The beacon is it's a pretty large item. It's basically the size of a substation, but it takes up a lot more space. It's actually one block bigger. I think it's a 4x4, and it doesn't have a really big effective area. So you see there in the corner, it's only basically affecting one electric mining drill. And then of course, it needs all these modules, and I keep pressing the wrong buttons. It needs all these modules to go in to be able to efficiently sort of to have it working a lot better. And so what I then decide is I'm going to put power on the top row. And you see the inserters will basically get full power from that from that setup. And now I'm trying to figure out, okay, can I actually put down 2 rows of beacons? And ideally I would have looked up on the internet. I would have actually maybe gone and checked out the Reddit forum, or I would have looked on the Factorio forums, but I didn't have access to the internet. Remember, I'm still sitting on a train, literally playing this game and recording these episodes, purely because as I play, I want you guys to see what I'm doing and let you know about why I'm making the decisions I'm making and why I'm placing things the way I'm placing. And I'm still trying to figure out, like, okay, how does this actually work? Like, how would it function? And then I say, okay, I'm not sure about the beacon so much. Let me just put down the inserters, and I decide to use stack inserters because I have them. And of course I put the first row of inserters down the wrong way. And then I fix it and have that done. The next step obviously is to put down the requester chest, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to have requester chests basically bring the iron ore and bring the copper in to get smelted. I don't want belts to be used to bring in the ore. Because then it would mean we need to create another station, and we have the ore already being dropped off by trains. So I just decide to put down this little requester chest setup, and obviously connect up the power, and then I need to set up the requester chest to request the ore. So 50 ore seems to be the right sort of number. Well, that's what I decide to go on. I don't know if it's the right number. And then I copy the request over to all the chests. Just make sure that they're all set up that way. We have the robot port. It's already in the network. I'm not actually sure what I'm doing, but I just have a feeling that the robots are going to run out of power themselves while they're on the way here. Pressing the wrong buttons again. And now I'm trying to figure out, okay, why the robots not actually bringing the ore in, and that's purely because the ore is not in the network. It's a pretty strange thing, I know, but this particular base, or this section of the base where the trains are already on the network, and so all I do is I change these chests to provider chests, passive provider chests, And I don't change all of them, but I change basically these 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, I do. I change all the copper, all the iron ore chests to provider chests. Obviously, not all of them are going to be providing. A lot of them are going to be still putting onto the belt, so that's fine. And then, of course, I just need to connect up this belt and have these have the ore go down here and figure out exactly what how this is going to function. Obviously, the beacons need power, so I decide to go with substations to power them. And so we have our first set of electric mining drills basically putting down some new iron. Now, obviously, all the furnaces are all on the bottom end. The belt is on the top. It's only putting down on one side, and now I'm trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to bring all of this iron ore into the factory? And I need to wiggle my way around. I need to wiggle my way, like basically between these two bodies of water. Turn left, and then figure out a way, or jiggle my way into the factory. Obviously, that belt needs to be balanced. Need to do a right turn, and then feed it in. This is the line that we have that's gonna basically connect in. And there we go. So that's connected. These mining drills will be basically running for non-stop. There's enough iron ore in the system to have that happen. You can see the robots are basically transporting the iron ore in and bringing them through. And so I pick up my speed modules, and I start putting the speed modules in. And I put the speed modules into these. Those are speed module 2s, and of course you can see the production does increase quite drastically. And of course I put these speed module 2s in more machines. Basically what I want to do is I want to compress this belt to a point that it is full, and I will use the least number of smelters to do that. I put in a little balancer there just to, well, it's not really a balancer, it's basically just transferring the iron ore on iron ore? No, it's iron plate. Transfer the iron plate over to both sides of the belt. This chest has got 52. So that's pretty good. I decide to increase the request to 200 for whatever reason. I don't know what possessed me. Watching this now, I'm not sure what possessed me. Then I decide to change it to 100. Of course, all the robots are going to be delivering the 200 already, but that's fine. I don't really have a problem with that. And that's basically just to guarantee that we have enough iron in this section to be able to warrant sort of production. I'm not exactly sure. I don't have enough speed modules on me to basically put in all the beacons right now, so I'll be doing that soon. I can actually build a rocket silo if I wanted to. And I'm just basically looking around and seeing, you know, kind of figuring out what still needs to be done, what I have access to, etc. And I then head up to our module production area. I have 37 speed modules, just over 9. I pick up a stack of 50, but I think there's 79 over there. And then I decide to go with efficiency modules for whatever reason. Efficiency 3s I think I'm trying to save electricity at this point. But as I said earlier, it's kind of a pointless exercise. Of course, electricity consumption gets reduced a lot. I think I decided to do this purely because we have enough smelting. The factory is pretty full. I'm doing this doing this section more of a backup than anything else. And of course, the crafting speed is 2, pollution's 0.8, and power's at 35, which is 80% saving, which is pretty good. And I'm basically just trying to figure out what's going on. We have a power shortage. That's what I just looked up now. You see, well, the power shortage was there anyway. It had nothing to do with these electric mining rods. These electric furnaces actually would not have affected the power much. And of course, this is not the final design of this furnace setup. I'm basically just trying to figure out what the difference is between the speed modules and efficiency modules. I put those 2 speed modules in there, but I don't really do much after that. So with that, I'm going to wrap up this episode right here. Thank you very much for watching. Please do hit a like and subscribe if you're enjoying the series. We'll see you guys soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.